What's up guys, it's me, Strawhead Nate, and I'm back this week with a new One Piece chapter video. This time we have One Piece chapter 1163 titled Promise. So to get you up to speed, last chapter ended with IMU, the king of the world and the strongest One Piece character, arriving to God Valley to stop all this pirate mess. And pirates and marines, all with different alliances and allegiances, now are coming together by force because they have to deal with this common enemy, IMU. From the warfaring Rocks pirates, to the treasure-seeking Roger pirates, to the heroic marines led by Garp, they all have to work together now in this chapter because nobody likes the tyranny of IMU. And in an awesome couple of pages, we see this crazy unique alliance that we have never seen before form, but it all comes to an end because of IMU's Domi Reversi. This is a result that many people could see coming, but yes, Rocks gets flipped onto the evil side using IMU's overpowered devil contract abilities. And if you want to know what this means for the rest of this God Valley incident, and also the portrayal of the incident in the future of the story, then stay till the end of this video. Now, let's get into the chapter right after you like the video and subscribe to the channel. First off, as always, I'll briefly mention the cover, and this week we're back into the reader requests, the first one in a very, very long time. This one shows Monkey D. Luffy doing parkour across buildings alongside other monkeys. So it's a fun scene, but nothing of prominence. Now, the chapter actually begins with IMU attacking literally anyone who he sees, pirates and marines alike. And this is nothing out of the ordinary because it's already been shown before in the story that the conceited celestial dragons hate humans with a burning passion, even those who work for them directly. Then IMU comes face to face with Rocks, and they're able to have a little conversation here before they kick off the battle, their first time talking since the Reverie incident, and IMU looks at him and says, "To think it was you, Davy Jones." But Rocks replies saying that you got the wrong person, but Davy Jones' promise still applies now through him. So two things here. This is just more evidence that IMU is an ancient immortal being, because to mistake Rocks for Davy must mean that IMU lived through both of their lifetimes, 800 years apart. And the other thing is that this promise that Rocks mentions is likely the will of Davy Jones, potentially even the will of D, where Davy's descendants will always oppose the world government and its demonic leaders. IMU says, "That's why you all must be erased from this world." And Rocks screams that it's not your world, IMU. And then their battle kicks off. At the same time in the distance, Garp arrives with his men, and they talk about who they should back up. Garp just witnessed a minute ago the horribleness of IMU attacking marine men, so he isn't so sure about siding with him, like he is supposed to do as a marine. We'll see his decision of who he backs up very soon, but first we change scenes for a brief moment. In this scene, the primary purpose is to show us more of Rocks' crew and their abilities. They all seem to have devil fruits that we are familiar with, confirming that all of these guys died and their devil fruits were passed. Captain John uses the Jiki Jiki no Mi, the fruit that Eustace Kid currently owns, in order to collect all of the treasure using magnetism. The move that he uses to bring all of the treasure into himself is called Big Eater, and the Roger pirates who are nearby get caught in these powers. Gabon, the third in command on the crew, yells to the other pirates about not letting yourself get taken by the magnetism because they're all holding metal swords, things that can be taken easily. And Roger in the middle yells to get out of my way since he has more important things to attend to, the IMU situation on the other side of the island. So Roger just runs through the pull of the magnetism and it barely affects him, unlike the rest of his crew. Another Rocks pirate, Ganzui, shows off his Bamu Bamu no Mi powers, the fruit that belongs to Mr. 5 currently. And what Ganzui does is he starts throwing mucus bombs at Captain John. You might be questioning why he is attacking his own crewmate, John, but remember, the Rocks crew is not a typical pirate crew, and they all just want their own selfish desires. So Ganzui can't let Captain John get all the treasure for himself, even though they're supposed to be allies. As I said earlier, the magnetism is really affecting the whole wide area, so even Dragon, a completely unrelated party, is affected. And remember, Dragon is currently holding and protecting the baby Shanks after he lost Shamrock a minute ago. And Dragon, who is merely a teen, gets swept away by this magnetism and then also gets blown up by stray bombs to the point where he falls on the ground and accidentally lets go of the baby Shanks. As a result of this, Shanks crawls away safely into the treasure chest that he was found in. So surprisingly, it was all a coincidence that Shanks was found by the Roger crew. I was under the impression that Dragon would have delivered Shanks directly to Roger, but I guess that's not how it went. Now we cut back to Emu and Rocks' battle, the main event, and this is where it gets really ridiculous. Garp arrives on the scene and after being held back by his own men who don't want him to join the battle if he's gonna fight against Emu. They try to remind him that Emu is the highest authority in the world, so he can't fight against him, but Garp is just disgusted by what he did to the fellow Marines. So now, on Rock's side, remember that he's being backed up by Whitebeard and Kaido, two of his strongest men. And now comes the third strongest of his crew. But it's kind of weird how they arrive. It's not really to help. The person that arrives is, of course, Big Mom Charlotte Linlin, who comes to the scene not to fight Emu, but rather to fight Kaido because she's still pissed off about Kaido taking the Azure Dragon Fruit from her hands. And at the same time, Roger arrives to the scene as well. So now, the list of the characters here to fight Emu are Rocks, Whitebeard, Kaido, Big Mom, Roger, and Garp. An extremely impressive list of characters. Then in an awesome double-page spread, all of these people attack Emu at once, using some of their strongest techniques. Garp uses Galaxy Impact, Roger uses Divine Departure, Rocks uses a new attack called Pandemonium, Whitebeard uses Hakua, Big Mom uses Ikoku Sovereignty, and Kaido just attacks as a dragon because he has no named attacks just yet. By the way, Big Mom was actually trying to hit Kaido with her attack, but he dodged the attack, so her attack ended up hitting Emu and ended up helping the cause. Now, from these attacks, Emu is actually ripped up into shreds, his large shadowy figure completely destroyed. But as usual, this is nothing for him because he can heal from basically anything. So he immediately begins his recovery. And as he recovers, Emu unleashes a scary amount of Supreme King Haki, almost like he did when he arrived on Elbaf in the current storyline. And this wave of Haki wipes out all of the non-important people on God Valley, all of the citizens and weaker Marines. And nobody here gets wiped out because obviously these are all the strongest characters in the verse gathered in this scene. Rocks, the leader of this newly formed alliance, starts slicing up Emu with his sword again and again, but the regeneration is just too fast, so it's all useless, even for a man as powerful as Rocks D. Zebek. Emu taunts him, saying that he sees Rocks' wife and child, Eris and Teach, running through the forest. And Rocks gets pissed off because Emu mentioned his wife and kid, and that's hitting way too close to home. And this slight distraction causes Emu to get the chance to stab Rocks with a black tentacle, like he did to Sabo way back in Reverie. He continues taunting, saying Mu won't be the one to kill them. It will be you, Rocks, who are gonna kill Eris and Teach along with the rest of the Davy clan. And Rocks scoffs at the absurdity of this claim until IMU uses Domi Reversi, flipping Rocks to the dark side, basically. We see in the final panels Rocks transforming into a devil with fangs and with wings, just like what happened to Dorian Bragi on Elbaf. And while this is happening, the rest of the newly formed alliance looks at Rocks in horror of what's in front of them. And that's it for this chapter. It makes sense now why Rocks is portrayed as the big villain of the God Valley incident all along, because IMU forced him into this villain role. It wasn't of his own accord. I'm sure Roger and Garp don't want to kill Rocks because they respect him, but under these circumstances, it's definitely gonna happen, unfortunately. It's really crazy though, that just for a brief moment, we got to see an alliance of a lifetime with all of the strongest characters in One Piece. Also, it's crazy that IMU has such a supreme authority to even be able to switch Rocks of all people. I heard a theory that I really like, saying that IMU can only flip people who are currently in their home. And that would make sense because the Latin for home is Domi Reversi. And that would fit basically with all of the evidence provided. Rocks being flipped on God Valley and Dorian Bragi being flipped on Elbaf. That would mean that none of the Straw Hats have to worry about getting flipped here on Elbaf, but maybe they'll have to worry in other cases down the line. I'm thinking about Elbaf, but still we're in this God Valley flashback, and it's not over yet. There's no break next week, so we'll see what happens with the evil version of Rocks now. So if you made it to the end of this video, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to show your support, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.